All right, let's just go on ahead and get started. People will probably still be trickling in over the next few minutes, but they won't miss too much. So this webinar is being conducted by the Bluebeam Power Road User Group here in the Southwest. The goal of these is just briefly touch on some of Bluebeam's most powerful features for you guys, just give you some exposure, and then you can kind of take it from there. And if you think it's useful, kind of learn it more yourself in your own way. So this webinar is going to focus on takeoffs and estimating. Hugely powerful tool, obviously, being able to measure the drawings and apply unit pricing, come up with an estimate, especially useful in the field for change orders if you're a project engineer. Also useful in the office if you're in the estimating department if you need to do some takeoffs. I will say that if you are an estimator, if you have access to on-screen takeoff if you're doing a larger takeoff, a larger estimate, I'd much more recommend OST as opposed to Bluebeam, just in terms of how it formats everything, how it organizes your takeoffs. It's a lot more comprehensive and more intuitive. That being said, Bluebeam is a great all-in-one tool, and it's great to use Bluebeam as a takeoff tool for maybe small one-off takeoffs here and there. And it's, like I said, it's very useful in the field. So let's just go on ahead and get started here. The first thing when you're in Bluebeam that you're going to want to do if you're going to be performing takeoffs is you're going to want to go to the takeoff profile. So if you don't know, up here under View, there's a Profiles drop-down menu. Bluebeam already has a few profiles loaded in that kind of just change the settings of Bluebeam and provide different tool sets, make things more accessible. So you'll notice when I click on Takeoff, you'll see a few things change right off the bat. So what it's doing is it's really making the drawing larger, because with takeoffs, as you know, you kind of get into the gritty details of the drawing. You want to make the drawing as large as possible. So it's really just allowing you more space for that, which is nice. So we're in that now. And you'll notice that there's also some tool chests here with different takeoff items. These are preloaded with Bluebeam, but there's some more online if you have different types of takeoffs that you want to do. For this example, I'm going to be doing a flooring takeoff, which I created myself, but I'll get into that a little bit later. So the first thing that you're going to want to do once you're in the takeoff profile is you're going to want to scale your drawing. So there's a couple ways to do that. The way you do it is you go here to the measurement tool, and right here up it says scale. So you can either measure 2 points on the page, but you'll notice I don't have any measurements on this page, so that's not really an option for me. So I'll scroll down to the scale. I see it's 1/8 of an inch equals 1 foot, so I'll enter that in here. That's the default for all pages. If you're wondering, 1/8 inch equals 1 foot. I'll just recalculate that to make sure that it works. So the next thing you need to do is you need to check and make sure that the scale is correct. So I don't have any measurements on this page, but one kind of trick that you should always know if you don't have a measurement is every door frame on the project is going to be 3 feet wide. That's just a rule of thumb. In estimating, that's kind of the first things you learn, just in case you don't have a scale. So if I measure here with the length in this door frame, I should be at 3 feet. And I am, so I know the scale is correct, and I can move forward and I can be confident that my quantities are correct. Delete that. All right, so let me zoom back out here. And also throughout this, you guys, if you have questions, there's a questions section on the right toolbar. You can fill it out, and I can see them as they come in, so feel free to just populate that. Okay, so we've scaled the drawing. We know the scale is correct. So I'm doing a flooring takeoff. Let's say I want to start doing a takeoff for this showroom floor tile, F1B. I know that's a floor tile, so I'll come over here to my area. I'm going to do an area takeoff, so let me just trace around here real quick. I won't be too precise just for the sake of time, but give you the general idea. That's going to come down to here, come across, and let's just put it there just to save some time. So okay, I know that's 3,515 square feet. but I don't really like the way this is being displayed. So I want to change the properties. So if you can do that a couple ways, you hit right click, go to properties. So now here I could format that markup. Now let's say I want to put in a fill color and I want to change the opacity so it just doesn't just block out the entire page. You might want to increase the line width. So that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll want to change the font a little bit bigger so it's easier to see that. Another thing that you're going to want to do is under subject, because I'm doing flooring, I'm going to put flooring, and you'll see why I do that later. You want to keep the same types of markups together for later in the process when you try to assign materials to them, but I'll show that to you later. For a label, that's what's going to show up on the actual drawing. So if I type F1B floor tile, that is now going to show up on the takeoff as well, which is helpful. I see the 3,515 square feet of floor tile. I know that's what I want. But you'll notice there's something wrong here. I've got an F3A that is within this area. So that's no problem. Bluebeam has a cutout tool, which is right here, cutout, which allows you to take a negative area. So I can just trace this out right here. And now you see it subtracted that area. I could do that for the 4 walk-off mats, but for the sake of time, I won't get into it. You guys see how that works now. Let's see. Now I do have this F3A that I also want to take off. So let's go on ahead and do another one. This is an area again. Just trace around here. Double click. So now that's 240 square feet. Again, I want to format that. So I'm going to right click properties. Actually, I right clicked on the other one. Here it is, right click properties. Same thing, subject, it's going to be flooring. Label is going to be F3A. I know that this is wood tile from my finish schedule. Now again, let's change the line width. Let's pick a different fill color. Maybe we'll pick a brownish color since it's wood. Change the opacity. Again, I'll change the font size a little bit bigger so that we can read it. And there you go. I've just taken off those 2 areas pretty simply, just like that. Now, if you know you're going to be reusing the same condition, for example, I've got some more of this showroom floor tile down here in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. Rather than redo the same thing every time, it's a good idea to add your takeoffs once you have a condition. It's a good idea to go on ahead and add those to a tool chest. So I've created this one. I did name this flooring, but now it's not being called flooring. Let me see if I can edit that. I'll call this flooring. So it shows up as flooring. Okay. So I'm going to add this markup to flooring. So to do that, you right click, add to tool chest, and I want to add it to my flooring tool chest. Now see, there it is, it just popped up. Now kind of a cool, let me pull this out so you can kind of see. So it put the label in there so I can see what kind of flooring it is just by looking at it regardless of the symbol, which is great. One thing you'll notice is if I were to just click it right now and bring it in, it's going to give me the exact same shape as that markup that I saved. That's not necessarily what I want. So Bluebeam has this cool feature where if I just double click right here, I can change the mode. You can also do that up here with this toggle button. So that's going to give me, like I said just before, the same shape. If I click that button again, it's just going to let me draw a shape with those properties. So that's what I want. So let me go back down here. This new car delivery area, which has the same type of flooring, outline this area. Again, not being too precise for the sake of time. And there we go. Now I have F1B floor tile down there as well, and it has the same properties as my previous markup, which is convenient. Now, Once you have all your markups on your page, obviously I would have a little bit more than this. I also created some conditions earlier that I could use. For example, got an area rug right here. Just get a few more markups on the page for this next step. Again, not being too precise, and I don't know what's going on there. There we go. And we had some of this flooring. Let's just take off this room. Again, I can do the cutout tool, which is right here on the right toolbar, and cut out that area. Again, not being too precise. You'll notice that Bluebeam always puts the label right in the center of the markup, regardless of if there's a cutout. So you just kind of need to know that that's the wood tile right there. Anyways, so moving on, so I've taken all this stuff off. What if I want to view these all in one place? So go down here to the bottom markups list, and you can pull this up, and you'll see all the markups that I've made on this page are now displaying. And you want to set your columns to make sure you get the correct information. So go ahead and click the custom columns button. So notice I'm showing subject and page and author, which are just kind of the default. Color, which is good so you can see it visually. I wanted to choose the label so that way I could see what type of flooring, because that's how I named it in the takeoff properties. A comments box on the right if you need it, and then obviously the different types of measurements. So take note of the measurement column. Because I took off all area conditions, it knows that that is what the measurement, the default measurement to put in the measurement column. So it also took the perimeter length, but because it was an area condition, the measurement is going to default to the area. If I were to draw a link just here on this page, a couple links, exit out of that, now you'll see these should populate. It'll take a second. So now I have 2 links, right? So you'll see that in the measurement column it's pulling from the length. So it's going to pull from the type of condition that you created. Same thing for volumes, same thing for perimeters, things of that nature, angles, radiuses, all those. So I've got these set up now. If I want to put a cost to this within Bluebeam, I can do that. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to throw in another column, custom columns, and material. So I kind of created this beforehand just to expedite the process, but if you hit modify, you'll see that I created a column which is going to be a choice, so it's going to be a drop-down menu of all the different floor types that I have on the project. And say the floor 1B tile, which is what we took off first, go to that, hit modify. So the item is the name that I want it to be, which is floor tile showroom. The subject is flooring, which is the same subject that we used back when we were creating the properties. And that's why it's important, because if you want to be able to select a material for a takeoff, it has to have the same subject as the material here in this drop-down menu. Hope that makes sense. And then assigning a numeric value, that is the unit price of the floor tile in the showroom. If you're on a project and you want to be able to do change orders, it's helpful to know what this unit price is. If you don't know it, it's helpful to maybe look back through the GMP or the bid for your job and look at some proposals from the bidding subcontractors. And oftentimes they'll list unit prices, or they'll have like a, their total bid, and they'll list quantities, and you can kind of work it out. If not, ask your subs for a rough order of magnitude. Keep in mind you want this to be furnish and install, not just material price if you're using an RS means book or anything of that nature. So that's where you put your unit price. So now that we have material in there, and I chose that to show as one of the columns, what you can do is you can assign material to these different to these different measurements. So this is F3A. You'll notice I have that in the takeoff menu. I clicked on the wrong one there. In the material drop down. F7A. This one's F1B. This one's F3, which I didn't create a material for yet. So let me show you how to create a material. Let's see, go back here, custom columns, material. If you want to add one, you just hit add, and then it's that same menu. Wood tile, subject. Remember, I want the subject to be flooring. Assign numerical value. Unit price for wood tile is going to be about $15 a square foot. Installed. Hit OK. Hit OK. Hit OK. And now here, should be able to pull that up. So that's great. And then also, this is F1B as well. So I've got my material and my unit pricing. So how do I get it to calculate the subtotals? Well, we need another custom column for that. So if you go up here to Manage Columns, you go to Custom Columns, you're going to want to add a new one. So click Add. I want this to be subtotal. Type, that's going to be a formula because it's going to have to calculate something. So under Expression, you're going to want to take your measurement, which is the takeoff. So if it's an area, it's going to pull an area. If it's in length, it'll pull the length, times the material, because we assigned a numeric value, which was the unit cost, to this material. So the format, we want this to be currency. Take it to 2 decimal places, currency symbol, including totals. OK. Hit OK. You'll notice here the subtotal column has populated with pricing information, which is great. Second here. So what if you want to, instead of doing this step at the end and assigning a material to each individual takeoff, what if you wanted your tool chest to automatically have the material selected, so every time you make the takeoff, it'll calculate the price? You can do that. So here on flooring, if you go over here to properties on the right hand side, you notice I can scroll down, and I already selected that one for carpet, but let's go to this next one. So this one was the F7A area rug. So I can now select material here and change that. Same thing for this. This is the F3 wood tile. And this one, which is the showroom tile, I believe. Yep, F1B. Those are now set in your tool chest. So if I take more of the F3 wood tile and just start drawing some, I got another 1,176 square feet of it. If you look down here, here it is, automatically populated, automatically calculated the price. So it's actually good to sort these by their labels so you can group them and get the subtotals. So again, if I keep going, so say I do more of the, I think this is the F7A area rug. There it is underneath here. I got another 113 square feet, and it's automatically calculating the price, and it's filtering up into the subtotals per the different types of flooring, which is good. So let's say I've completed this takeoff and I want to maybe manipulate this information maybe in an Excel spreadsheet. You can actually create a summary of it. So it's right here under summary on the bottom markups list. Go to CSV. Through all pages, I'm just going to go with current page because that's the only one I've done my takeoff on. Keep all these checked. Hit OK. It's going to ask me where I want to save it. I'll call it flooring takeoff. Just save it to my desktop for now, or that's fine. Hit save. Now it's going to open up a report basically of all those columns. So if I need to manipulate this information, copy and paste it into an estimate, something I can do that very easily. Additionally, you can create a PDF summary. So I'll click PDF summary. Same thing, I want to do the current page. Keep all this the same. Title, I'll call this my flooring estimate. Keep all this the same. Hit OK. It's generating. Now you'll see it's generated a nice PDF report for me. And what's cool about this is not only does it tell you the type of takeoff and the quantity, it also gives you a picture of it so you can see where it is on the drawing. In the field, this is obviously incredibly useful. Say this was a flooring change order and I did a takeoff for it and I had the backup. I could attach this to an email with the sub, with the change order, and just as backup showing that we did an estimate on how much it costs. So it's actually a pretty good tool here. It takes them off by type. Pretty nifty little tool. Say you wanted to email this, you can actually do that directly out of Bluebeam through the email function. Actually, just click on email, and it automatically attaches for you, and you can send this to whoever you want. So that's a great little tool right there. And that is about it. Let's see if anyone has any questions. Let's see. So one question from Ryan. In the toolbox, can you change the order of the columns to be subject, label, comment in lieu of subject, comment, label? Yes, so you can change these columns to be in any order that you want. So if I want these comments at the back, I could just literally drag it to the back. So these are all, completely customizable however you want to display it. So that answers that question pretty well, I think. Also, again, going back to that and managing your columns, make sure you have the right ones selected. I mean, if you don't have a need for a certain one, like if you don't need a comment section, or you don't need to know who the author was because there's only one person doing the takeoff, and you don't need to know the page number because there's only one page, just hit OK, and all of a sudden those disappear. I think on the default, the label actually isn't one of the default ones, so make sure you have that one selected if you want to actually be able to easily see all the floor types there in the bottom spreadsheet. So that's just a little tip. Let's see, does anybody else have some questions? Doesn't seem like it. So before I go, let's just show you guys again the Turner Bluebeam website that we created. So there's a couple ways to get there. You can go to turnerreviewer.com. That'll take you straight there. Additionally, you can go through TKN and go to business units, Southwest. And then we have the link to the Bluebeam website right there. So this is kind of your all-in-one resource for all your Bluebeam needs. We have training videos, some videos from a conference that we did, some PDF guides if you don't have time to watch a video, some surveys, some suggestions for Bluebeam, suggestions for us. Let me just show you guys where we're going to post the webinar afterwards. We'll have this up by the end of the day under training videos and webinars. We post them all. So if you missed some in the past, feel free to check out these. One thing we're really relying on you guys for is topics for next time. We're running out of things to show you, so we really want to know what your feedback is. Let us know your feedback on the last webinar you went to, but mostly what would you like to see for a future topic. We're really just going to cater this towards you guys. We want to cover what you guys need to know. So again, just please fill this out. We really appreciate it. And just thanks for stopping by the webinar, you guys. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your Wednesday and a great rest of your week and a great Labor Day weekend. All right, thank you.